Hello, lovely people, and welcome to the Almita Made channel. My name is Alma, and I'm here to chat about all things making, mainly sewing. Today, it's mostly sewing again. So this is going to be a recent makes vlog, which I haven't done in a little while for various reasons. And I haven't been making loads of stuff, but I definitely have some new things to show you, which is exciting. So a few weeks ago, I think it's almost a month ago now, I was going to see my friend, my best friend in Italy, going to visit her. I think on the vlog, I shared some t-shirts that I made for her kids, which went down really well. And I think in that vlog, I'd mentioned that I was hoping to get something made for her as well. And I did make it. I did finish it in time, which I'm so pleased about because it was quite tight. But it was a Saturday skirt set top, which is a Friday Pattern Company sewing pattern. I made myself a pink one recently. I'll link to that vlog so you can have a look. I absolutely love that top. I've been wearing it non-stop. I actually took it on that trip and I wore it there as well, just in the evening when it was a little bit cooler. But I made my friend one as well in a zebra viscose that I had in my stash for a while, and I couldn't quite put my finger on what I wanted to make with it. And then it clicked with this trip going to Italy. I thought, oh my God, she loves zebra print and she's going to love this top. Also, she's still breastfeeding, so I thought a wrap top is quite useful for that if you wear something underneath and that kind of stuff. And I gave it to her on the trip and she loved it. She wore it straight away. We went out for dinner one night and she wore that. And I thought she wore it in such a cool way. So she basically wore like a body, what do you call it? Like a leotard, but like a sexy leotard, like a lingerie style, black trousers, and then the zebra top on top. And I wish I'd taken a picture, but you know how it is when you're having a lot of fun. That was the last thing on my mind. And she looked incredible. I thought, wow, you've styled it in such a chic way. That already told me that she liked it. And then I saw that she posted a video because she's in a group, a singing group that I will link to below because they are amazing. They're a trio, they sing incredibly. And they posted a video of them rehearsing one of their next songs. And she was wearing the top in the video, which I thought was a very big seal of approval. So I was super pleased with how my me-made gifts went down. And I've actually filmed a vlog a while back all about why you should only sew for grateful people, for people who appreciate your sewing gifts, because it's time consuming and you want to know that the makes are going to a good home. And she's very appreciative of the things that I've made for her and for her kids. And yeah, I will continue to make for her. That's how you decide. I'll link to that gifts vlog as well, so you can take a look because it's a useful one to have, I think. And so before that trip, I never got around to showing you what I sewed for myself for the trip because it was all very last minute and I'd had ideas for the following vlogs. So I sort of never got around to mentioning these makes, but they were two of them. Yes, I sewed two things in the lead up to the trip for myself. There's always that sewist thing that if you're going away, you want to make a whole new holiday wardrobe. I knew I didn't have time to do that, so I focused on two things that have been on my to make list for quite a while, though not so specifically, but we'll get to it. So the first thing, I wanted to make myself a new bikini. I have had, let me see if I can show you just the fabric before I show you the stuff. I've had this lycra in my stash for years, at least 2 or 3 years. It's from Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, which is where my family is from, and I go there pretty much every year, there are some great fabric shops that are very great specifically at certain types of fabrics. So they have great poly jersey, which is fantastic for kids' pajamas and that kind of thing, because they have the most amazing prints and they wash very well and all of that. So they're great for that specific purpose. I have tried to make myself things in it and it has not gone down in the best way because I'm not good at wearing polyester basically. But then they also have some amazing lycras, which is stuff that you would use to make exercise clothes or swimsuits. It's not specifically called swimwear fabric, and I think sometimes when I've been in those shops and I've asked, oh, is that for swimwear, they kind of don't want to tell you that it's specifically for swimwear, because it's probably not treated for resisting the sun very well, or whatever you put in swimming pools. What is that? Anyway, you know what I mean. It's probably not made specifically to resist much use in the sea and in a swimming pool, which is why they can't say that it is swimwear. But to all intents and purposes, it is swimwear. It's very stretchy, it's quite shiny, it's lovely. And because I know that I'm not needing swimwear very often in my life, sadly, I would love to live near the beach and get a little bit more of that in my life, but alas, I'm in London, so I need a swimsuit for very few days a year, is what I'm saying. So to me, it's not that important that the fabric be specifically swimwear fabric. You know, it's more about how it looks. And this print I absolutely love. It's sort of different types of leaves on a black background, which I think looks really cool for swimwear. It's not going to be transparent because it's dark, which is always good. And so I had this fabric in my stash with the idea of making a bikini for years, and I just never got around it. So with this trip, I just thought this is the perfect excuse. Get yourself together, try and make it at least. Luckily, I think I bought 3 meters of this, and a bikini does not take much fabric. So I thought, if it all goes wrong and you're rushing for this trip and it doesn't come together, it's okay. You sacrifice the little fabric that you used and you try again when you get back from the trip. I just thought, let's lower the stakes. Let's make it not too much pressure for myself. And I think setting myself up like that really worked, because then I wasn't afraid of kind of improvising as I went. And I ended up making a very successful bikini. I'm very happy with it. So how did I make this? Did I use a pattern? No, which I know is not what you want to hear. It's not the best, but I can tell you how I made the pants of the bikini, because I do think this is a great way of doing it. So these are very simple, and I will put a picture, very briefly, a picture of me in the bikini so you see how it looks. Not that it's my favorite thing to share, but you know, I thought you have to see how it looked. And these are very basic pants. And I lined them with what is a lilac swimwear fabric that I bought from somewhere. I want to say Rainbow Fabrics, probably in a sale. And again, I just bought it thinking, just have it. It's your color. It's looking a bit blue maybe on screen, but I'll put a picture up of a flat lace so you can see the actual color. I just thought, just buy it. It's cheap. It's swimwear fabric. It's your color. You'll use it. And basically my idea was to make a reversible bikini. In the end, I only wore it with the green on the outside because it just looked much nicer, to be honest. But I like the idea that it is reversible, should I feel like it. Maybe on a longer trip, I want to look like I'm wearing 2 different bikinis. Not that I care about those things, but you know, there's the option there. Why not? So the way I made the pants was by sacrificing a pair of M&S pants that I know I wear all the time. They're comfortable, they're a nice shape that makes me feel happy and comfortable and makes me look good in my eyes, at least. And I just have many pairs, and I sacrificed one. I just cut it up to make the pattern. So I'll put some pictures up. I think they were M&S anyway. That's where I buy most of my pants. But anyway, they had a scalloped edge, which initially I thought, oh, that's cute. I could do that in the bikini. And then I thought, no, I don't want a scallop tan line, to be honest. As cute as that sounds, I don't want that. So let me just straighten that. And I traced them. I added seam allowance because obviously that wasn't included. They're kind of laser cut pants. Is that a thing? So there's almost no seam allowances. Every edge is like laser cut, I believe. Anyway, I used some pants that I knew fitted me exactly how I wanted them to fit me. And that's how I made the pattern for the bottoms. And I would absolutely recommend this method, because then you're taking out the guesswork. You know that you like how those pants fit you. It's great. And in many bikini patterns, you do see that people add swimwear elastic around the legs and maybe around the waist as well. I made the kind of shell of the pants just in the outer fabric. I tried them on, and honestly, the fit was just right. So I thought, I don't actually want the elastic digging into me. And again, I'm not going to be using this, 6 months of the year. It's going to get very sporadic use. So I think it's fine. And I'm really, really pleased with how these came out. Then moving on to the top. This is where I think I'm quite different from most people. Definitely, I know I'm very different from most British people because of chats that I've had in the office, for example. But so there is many considerations to be had when you're making a bikini, or when you're making swimwear anyway. I think for me, the most important thing is that it's comfortable and that it will give me very, very limited tan lines. Those are my priorities. And I know if you're someone who swims a lot, like does while swimming, you would have completely different priorities. If you're someone who's at the beach all the time, for example, my friend, she spends months, literal months at the beach because they have a beach house, a house at the beach, not a beach house. Anyway, so a big part of her summer is at the beach. So she can have any kind of shapes and types of bikinis because she's sunbathing every single day, So if she gets a tan line that's a bit odd from an asymmetrical bikini, the next day she wears a straight one, so that gets evened out. And so the tanning period is so much longer that she doesn't really have to think about things like that. I am someone who tans very quickly, and I don't mean burn, I mean tan. So my family is from Latin America. I am meant to be much darker than how you see me usually. It's just that I don't have access to the sun that often. But so if I spend an hour in the sun, I'm gonna tan for sure. And so if I'm only going to the beach for 2 days in the year, I do not want a bikini top that's gonna give me tan lines that then, for me, look horrible when I wear a strappy dress like what I'm wearing, which I haven't even told you. I'll get back to that. But yes, for me, that's a huge thing. And I know it is definitely not a problem for other people who don't like to spend time in the sun, for example. And don't worry, I am always wearing, sunscreen and protection. I am careful, but I love the sun. It literally charges me up. I want to look more like what I should be looking. So I like to get tanned. And for that reason, I wanted a very minimal bikini top. And for example, there are other shapes that I know I like how they look on me a lot better. I love a halter neck. I think that looks really, really nice. But a halter neck is going to give me thicker straps here and a tan line that doesn't go with something that has straight straps, for example. So I just will not wear a halter neck. So do you see? I hope you can understand what my thinking is here. And so do I love how this looks on me? Not particularly as a top, not particularly. It's not, I don't think, very flattering, if we can use that word. But it meant that I got absolutely no lines on my shoulders, and I am so happy wearing the rest of my summer wardrobe without any tan lines. So it's a win. And what this is pretty much a tube. It's pretty much a straight tube. It comes in at the back a little bit, and there's a seam there. And then it's cinched in at the top just to give it a little bit more of a shape. I did make it as a straight tube to begin with, and I thought that's very monobooby. So I put a little ring, if that makes sense, of fabric there. And then I threaded through a long strap so that if I was moving out and about, if I was lying down, I could have my nose strap sunbathing perfectly. And I put this in my hair actually when I was doing that. And then I could thread it back in if we were, going into the sea, which I only did twice. But if we were going into the sea, to avoid maybe this falling down instantly with the waves, I wrapped that around my neck like this, which is a mini halter neck. I'm happy to report that there were no flashing incidents while I was in the sea, quite an angry sea. There was a lot of waves and nothing came off. So this to me is a success, and the tan lines were exactly how I needed them to be. So success, success, success. And I really love the pattern, this leafy pattern. So absolutely a win. #1 win. Now, let's pause the new makes to just mention what I'm wearing. This is my chicken dress, which I absolutely adore. There's a chicken, there's cornflakes. And today I'm wearing it with a Tati Divine necklace with eggs on it and some egg earrings that are just from a tiny shop, and they kind of go as a set, which is cute. So the chicken dress, if you don't know about it, I will link to that vlog because it's one of my most joyful makes of the year. It is the Joelle dress bodice. The Joelle dress is a pattern by So Love Patterns, and then I added a sort of gathered skirt. And it was not that simple. So go and take a look at the chicken dress vlog because it was almost as a disaster, but we saved it and I've worn it a few times and it makes me really happy. And I don't have any tan lines, so it works. Right, back to the new makes. The other thing that I made in the lead up to my trip to Italy was something that I'd been wanting to make for ages. I had this fabric, which is a faux leather, gold faux leather from Fabric Godmother. I bought it in a sale maybe last year, so it's been a while. And I bought it thinking I wanted to make the Bestie bag, which is a BF Patterns, Blackbird Fabrics Patterns. I think it's just BF Patterns, which is a Canadian fabric store run by Caroline, who's one half of the Love to Sew podcast, which I love. Anyway, they brought out this great pattern. I have made it before and I wear that bag a lot, but in my head when I bought this gold faux leather, I thought I need another Bestie bag that's going to be perfect for it. And I'd been wanting to make it. I almost made it for 2 previous trips that I've been on that I've thought, it would be so useful to have a faux leather. This is waterproof, you see. I have a lot of fabric bags. Oh, it was Costa Rica, my Costa Rican trip. And I knew it was going to be raining all the time. And I thought, I can't bring my fabric bags because that's a disaster. I should make that Bestie bag. I ran out of time. I never made it. But the day before I went to Italy, I decided, let me try. Again, I thought, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But start it. Why not? And I did start it and I managed to finish it. So we have a gorgeous golden Bestie bag. I love it. I will put some pictures up as well because one of my pet peeves is seeing bags with nothing in it because then you don't really see like the proper shape of the bag. So I'll put pictures of the bag with things in it. But the reason I have it empty is so I can show you the details a little bit better. So the outer, as I said, is a Fabric Godmother faux leather. Really nice quality, really good to sew with. I always think that faux leather might be a bit of a nightmare, and some of them are, some of them aren't. This one definitely wasn't hard to sew. It was fantastic, which was very welcome news as I started my bag the day before flying to Italy, you know. I'd already had the pattern all kind of cut out. I think I made the medium version without the tucks. I think that's the difference, but they're sort of straight size medium without any hardware because I didn't have any on hand. So I did, the strap is basically made of the same fabric and then there's a loop and a knot, which I really like. And that's how I made my previous one. And I just thought it works. I really like it. So I just do the same. Then I started thinking, oh no, do I even have a zip though? And of course I did. Because if you've seen my Stitch Festival haul vlog from the beginning of the year, which was my very first vlog, baby's first vlog on this channel, I will link to it again. But I bought a lot of kind of chunky zips from Purple Stitches, which have come in very handy so far. And I do have plans for others as well. But yes, this one has a lilac tape, which you can barely see, which was on purpose because I thought, oh, is it? I don't know if I wanted to like scream lilac, but there's a little nod of lilac. And then the teeth are gold, which is what I loved. So it's gold, gold, gold. And the puller is gold. And so that was fantastic. It just worked really, really well. And then the reason I didn't want it to scream lilac is because the inside is very pink. And this is why I've not put anything in the bag, because I wanted to show you the inside, which is a block print cotton from Rainbow Fabrics, I believe, but it's just a bit of remnants from my sew over it Courtney jumpsuit, which I'll put a picture of up. And I love this fabric. I really wanted to use it for something that I would see and use all the time, if you know what I mean. So very pleased that this is what it got turned into with all the tigers. And I put all the pockets that you can put, I put them in. So there's 3 inner pockets. Really nice. And now in terms of making it, I didn't have any issues with the leather, which was great. I did, however, decide not to push my luck, and I didn't top stitch the base. So there's a step which I think is to reinforce the bag. You are meant to top stitch the base around the 2 seams. And I thought that's quite awkward to get under the machine. This is still faux leather, so it might get tricky. I don't want to ruin it. And I didn't. And I think this is plenty strong enough. It's all good. And it looks nice and smooth now. So it's all good. The only thing I had trouble with, and I remember having trouble with it when I made my other version, and I don't know, it must be something I'm doing, or it might be the fact that I'm using very different weights of fabric for the outer and the lining. But when it came to sewing the base, no, what was it? I don't even remember. Something didn't fit. But at one point, I think it's around the 2 ends, when it came to attaching the outer and the lining, I had lots of little tucks, which they're in the lining, which is on the inside and kind of around the corner. So no one's actually seeing it. So I just adjusted it and made it fit, if that makes sense. But I do remember it happening last time as well. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. But apart from that, it's very straightforward, I'd say. It's a very, very, very good size. I think a bag that can fit a bottle of water and a book or a Kindle is a winner for me. So this one was very good to travel with. Really liked it. Very happy. And then, so my friend in Italy knows that I sew, obviously, and a few people around knew that I sewed. But then I mentioned something about, this is the bag that I had every day going around. This was my all-day bag. And at some point I mentioned something like, oh yeah, when I was making that bag, and everyone, literally my friend, her mum and her cousin, who were all around, it's a big family affair, they're like, what, you made that? I was like, yeah, no, I made that. I made it for this trip, actually. They just could not believe, like they can now understand that I can make myself a dress, but they could not believe that I had stitched faux leather, which made me feel really good, to be honest, because I was like, yeah, no, that is impressive, actually, when you think about it. Like, that's a different kind of level. This looks impressive, and I should remember that. It shouldn't be that offhand. And also, it's one of those things that I'm going to use so much. I mean, on the holiday, I use it every single second, but I think in my life in London, I will use it a lot as well. I have already, and I will more and more, I think. So another big win just in time for the holiday. Now, when I came back from that trip, things took a turn for the worst. I picked up something either in Italy or on the plane, I suspect. And oh my goodness, I'm going to say I was ill for 2 solid weeks, and I'm still not fully good. I have a cough that's still there, and it's not just annoying for life, it's very annoying for editing these vlogs, because I have to edit out some coughing fits every few minutes, which is really annoying. But the first 2 weeks, so we're now almost on to 4 weeks, to be honest, of not feeling 100%. But the first 2 weeks were horrendous. I could not do anything. It was zero energy. My head felt like it was exploding. I went to the doctors. She did not help at all. It was just like, yeah, tough. Just let it pass, basically. It didn't give me anything to take, which I was really frustrated about. But that's how it is. And for those 2 weeks, I could not do anything. It was so awful. I think we talk about how sewing and making is so good for mental health, and never has that been clearer to me than during those 2 weeks, because I need it. I need to be doing things, and I need my creative juices to be flowing, and I need to feel like I've done something every day. And crafting, sewing, knitting, whatever, really helps me with that. That it gives me that little validation, which maybe it's sad that I need it, but it's very clear to me that I do need it. I cannot spend a day doing nothing, and I ended up having to because of the illness. And in a way you might think, oh, maybe that's good, you needed it, but no, because I felt exhausted from doing nothing, if that makes sense. And I felt awful about myself. I was also quite lonely because my husband was away in Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Fringe. So it was just me and Roy. Thank goodness for Roy, my dog, who kept me very good company. But I felt really useless, and the thoughts going around my head were not nice at all. So if ever I needed reaffirming that sewing is good for my mental health, I've gotten the confirmation when it was not an option, when it was off the table for a while. And then when I started feeling, the day when my head cleared a little bit, because I had a fever as well, it was bad. The first day that my head started clearing, I started a new knitting project. Why not? I didn't have anything on the go, and I thought, I don't have the energy to start sewing and cutting fabric and all of that, but I'm going to try and do a little bit of knitting. And that made me feel so much better. And maybe I'll show you a little bit of the work in progress in a bit at the end of the video. But it suddenly made me feel like myself again, which was great. And then after that, a few days after that, I thought, okay, I think I now feel better enough to start sewing something. So I cut out a project that I had thought about for a few months. I think I mentioned it in a plans video a while back, and it is my purple cow denim that I bought from Rainbow Fabrics a few months ago. And I was planning to make some kind of co-ord set, so shorts and a jacket potentially. I decided to start with the shorts, and it took me a while compared to my usual kind of pace of making something from start to finish, but I'm so happy to have finished them. I'm so happy with the result, and the process of making these shorts just brought me back to myself, which sounds so dramatic and big, but honestly, that's how it felt. So without further delay, these are the Sew Over It Keira shorts in a purple cow denim. They are so cute. I didn't wear them because there's no point. You're not going to see my shorts when I'm sat down like this, but I will put up a video, some pictures, so you can see the effect. I am extremely happy with these. So Over It is where I work, which is why I'm always going to be a little bit biased, of course, but this is a great pattern. And I'd made it once for the photo shoot for when they came out. They're kind of a pink twill, cotton twill. I do really, really like them. They're just like a pink that's slightly not my pink, if that makes any sense to anyone. So I really like a cold pink. I like a baby pink, or I like a shocking pink. This is somewhere in between. So although I have worn them a lot, they're not like screaming me. And of course they're not, because they were a sample for the photo shoot. So they just had to be, merged with the other samples, which makes complete sense. But I knew that I wanted to make them again in a fabric that really felt like me. And what feels more like me than purple cow? This fabric just makes me really happy. The only modification that I did, because I knew I'd made them already, I knew they fitted nicely. I actually didn't even do the amendments that I usually do for trousers, because there's a little secret in these trousers, which is some elastic on the sides, which is really helpful for the fit. I really like that detail. And yeah, so because of that, I didn't make any alterations around the waist area, for example, because everything's brought in by the elastic. And I didn't even alter the curve. I don't know why, but there's less trouble than with a full pair of trousers. So I made the pattern as is. The only thing is I shortened them a lot, and this is just a style thing for me. I feel like when I wear the pink version, I like them, but they're kind of sensible shorts. And these were not going to be sensible shorts, were they, at any point? So I wanted them to be a little bit cuter, and the shorter length really works for me. It's still very much covering up everything that needs covering up, but it just looks a little bit cuter and more modern to me. So that's the only alteration. I've got pockets. There's slanted pockets at the front, patch pockets at the back. Really love that. There's this little cute detail, which is sort of pointy, would you call them pointy belt loops? I really like that. Ding, can you see? And there's 4 of them. Yeah, that one, you can see it better actually. And then you secure them with a button. So there's no button hole, but you secure the belt loop down with the button, which is something I really like, because going over belt loops, if you've made jeans or any trousers in that kind of heavy fabric, securing the belt loop down with a bar tack is always a little bit challenging for the sewing machine, I find, because it's a lot of layers. And so this is such a cute solution for that I might actually copy for other trousers, to be honest, because it looks very nice and it's easier to sew. And what's not to love? And so the only thing in terms of fit, at the moment they feel a little bit loose, but that's sort of by design. So I find I have this problem, and I really think it might just be me, because no one seems to complain about this. But when I first make something that has an elasticated waist, I will get it to fit exactly like I like it fitting. And then the first time I wash it, the elastic shrinks and everything turns really uncomfortable. And I have to go back in and add some elastic. And I've done that on so many things, so many trousers and skirts. Honestly, it's really annoying. And now I've started with some of the elastics that I have in my stash. I decided to pre-wash them, see if that makes a difference. But the elastic I used for this, I didn't pre-wash. So just in case, I decided to not overfit. And then the first time I wash these, I will see if the elastic has shrunk. If it hasn't, and I still want it to be a little bit more snug, then I will go in and tighten it. I thought I would play it safe, basically, and not tighten the elastic too much to begin with. So we'll see. So for now, it's fine. It's basically fine at the moment if I wear it with something tucked in, completely fine. But I tried to wear them with a crop top the other day, and they just fell a little bit lower than I wanted them to sit. Because if I'm wearing a crop top, I want my trousers to be really high so that there's barely any gap in between the two things. And because they're not snug enough at the moment, that wasn't happening. So I was like, oh no, I can't wear them together. That's a shame. But I think I will once we establish, after the first wash, we establish what the elastic is doing. It's annoying, but it's the kind of thing that's going to make a garment wearable or not wearable. So worth, waiting and biding your time and taking the time to fix it if needed. But the trousers, the shorts are absolutely adorable. I do have, as you can imagine, if you've been following me for a while, I do have quite a few purple things that go with this. And my plan, I should show you. I've got one of my iron-on labels in there, which looks cute, purple and purple. And my overall plan for these is to make a matching jacket, shirt, something, so that I've got a little set. I don't know if I'm going to get around to that before the end of summer, because let's face it, shorts, for me at least, I'm only going to wear shorts if it's really hot. So we're just on the verge, I feel, of losing summer and the hot temperatures. I might be wrong, and maybe in September we get another little heat wave, but we'll see. But then thinking about it, if I make the jacket, I might wear the jacket for longer, right? It's just that I wouldn't wear it as a set as much if the weather is changing. So that's the kind of decisions I need to make. But for the first item in that set, I am extremely happy. And I think I mentioned it when I got the fabric, when I did that vlog, that it reminds me of the Milka cow chocolate bar. It's the chocolate bar that has purple cow as a mascot or logo, whatever you want to call it. It's very much that. So I'll see if I find a bar of that to do a little silly little reel with. That would be cute. But yes, the Keira shorts in my purple cow denim, another very big success. So those are the 3 things that I've made recently, and I'm so happy about them. And before I go, 2 things. One, I will mention that before I went to Costa Rica, which was a few months ago now, I made my mum a Sylvia robe, sew over it Sylvia robe in this beautiful Frida Kahlo fabric that I bought at the Stitch Festival. She really loved it, but we didn't get around to taking pictures or anything. But then she's recently gone to visit my cousin in the States, and they went out for dinner because it was his birthday. And there is an amazing picture of mum wearing that Sylvia robe, and I'm going to put it up. I think she looks incredible. We talked about how to wear it, and I think in this picture it looks really dressy, it looks really cool. But we also talked about maybe wearing more of a lighter top underneath that makes it a little bit more daytime, but with the black is very, very like dressed up in a great way. And the dogs are my cousin's dogs, and I think they go with the whole look. I think you can agree with that. But yes, that's it's not that recent to make, but I finally have proof of acceptance of the make. And yeah, I think it looks fantastic, and I'm really pleased that I chose that pattern for that fabric because it really shows it off, and it's got impact, as Esme from the Sewing Bee would say. I think we can agree that it does have impact. So that's the honorable mention du jour. And then, yes, let me show you. So this is the first creative act that I did from coming out of my sickness, which feels very, very important. It feels meaningful, you know? So the yarn, first of all, the yarn started it because it's this beautiful purple. I'll put a picture up. But I bought a ball of this, quite a large ball, but quite expensive, in a shop called Knit With Me, which is in Richmond here in London. And I bought it because of the colour. And then it was silly of me in a way because I just was attracted to the colour. I didn't think about what I could make with it at all. The little information card had very little information on it. So it doesn't even say what kind of needles to use. It says what it's made of, which is 85% organic cotton, 15% baby alpaca. And the lady in the shop, who is super helpful, she told me that basically if I was looking to knit with cotton, I should know, which I've never done, I should know that it can be quite harsh on the hands when it's just the cotton fiber, which I didn't know and I'd never heard. So that was useful to know. And she said that the baby alpaca in this yarn makes it much less harsh on the hands while you knit. And I have to say, I mean, I don't have anything to compare it with because I've never knit with just cotton, but I have to say it feels completely fine. Like it feels like I'm knitting with wool. No complaints there. In the shop, I was just mesmerized by this color and by the look of the hank of yarn, and I didn't even notice that this tells me absolutely nothing. Luckily, like there's nothing. Well, no, there's the gauge, I suppose. There's what gauge it is. So I think maybe it's just for more advanced knitters than me, because it says that you should do 32 to 34 stitches per 4-inch. So I guess if you're an experienced person, you go like, oh, that's like DK weight yarn. That's like fingering yarn. I know what that means. I do not know what that means, just looking at that. Luckily, I went on Ravelry. I looked up the yarn, and thank goodness for Ravelry, there was loads of information. So I got what kind of weight or what kind of projects it was right for. I got what kind of needle size to use. I got so much information. I also saw the sort of projects that people were doing with it. And because it's cotton, I went to the yarn shop thinking I would like to do a summer knit, which is something I haven't done before. I've done woolly, warm stuff all the time. So I thought, let's have a go at something summery, which is why I bought this cotton and alpaca yarn. And then on Ravelry, I figured out what it was, which was very useful. And I landed on making a pattern. Not that it was recommended specifically for this pattern, but I could tell that I've forgotten all of it now, but I could tell that the size of it and the composition of it was similar to some of the yarn recommended for this pattern. And the pattern is called the Sailor Swift Top by Kutova Kika. I hope I'm saying that correctly. She is on Instagram. She's on YouTube as well. She's got a whole knit along, or a whole tutorial for making this top, which I was so so grateful to find out, because with knitting I really need a little bit of extra help. I'm still not confident enough. And so I love the look of the little top. It is designed to be stripy, hence the sailor element of the name of the pattern. But first of all, I just wanted something that I could make with this whole ball of yarn, and I think I'm gonna have enough, we'll see. But also I'm not fully sure that I want a stripy sleeveless top. It's not for me. I think it looks really lovely, but I don't think it fits in with my vibe that much. Don't know why. It's very pretty inoffensive. It's very cute actually, but yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't calling to me. So all I'm doing is following the instructions and ignoring when it says to change to the contrast color. And that's working pretty well for me. Now, it looks very funny at the moment. It looks tiny, first of all. So I'm making the smallest, no, I'm making size small with the needles recommended. I did a gauge swatch and that's sort of what came out of it. In terms of size, I do want it to be quite fitted because it's a top, you know, it's not to go on top of anything, it's just to be worn on its own. I have already made several mistakes and I don't know how, but we'll think of those at the end. I do always end up with skipped stitches or little holes that aren't meant to be there, and at the end of the project I usually go in with a tapestry needle and a little bit of yarn and kind of stitch around the hole, hoping that it gets covered and nothing unravels. It's not the best technique, I wouldn't recommend it, but there you go. So it is tiny at the moment and very difficult to see, but this looks like some weird underwear. But basically it's looking extra weird because I've got some stitches on hold here on one of these curved, that might make it look better, on one of these curved I don't know, safety pins, stitch holders. So you start by knitting the back. So this is the back, and then you knit a little bit of shoulder here, a little bit of shoulder here, and then you join the shoulders by casting on new stitches for the front neckline. And then now I'm carrying on. Woo, this is the front. It looks so tiny, but I measured, and this is something I've learned thanks to comments on this. I've now learned to do a gauge swatch, block it, then measure it. So I know that this yarn will grow a little bit, not massively, luckily, and I've heard that cotton grows a lot, but this one hasn't seemed to grow too much. But it relaxed enough that I think this is going to be okay as the size that I'm making. But yeah, basically, can we make this happen? Okay, my head fits through, so that's something. And then we've got this. It looks so small. I mean, obviously everything's curling up as well. There's going to be an eye cord, I think, all around the neckline and the armholes to try and make that sit kind of more flat, because at the moment everything's curling. Can you see this is like a spaghetti strap? That's not it. It's not going to look like that. It's a little bit wider. Very hard to show you. Also, I'm probably covering the microphone. But yeah, basically it's going to be like this, and it's going to carry on. And then I think at one point when we reach the armhole, which is soonish, I think, I'm going to join, and then it's in the round, which I'm very much looking forward to, because I've been having to purl every other row, and that is not what I enjoy. I think I'm not alone in this either. Oh, I've made a knot. Let me just put it away and fix that problem later. Also, I need to make myself another project bag, because I just have this, which is from some Zara shoes from years ago. It's not bringing me joy. It's not like my other project bag. So yeah, that's got to go on my sewing list. But yes, so I do not enjoy purling that much. And once you join the project in the round at the armholes, I think you start being able to just knit in the round, and then it's just knit, which is my happy place. So far, I'm very happy with the pattern. Everything's clear. There's been no moment where I'm like, huh? Which feels great. So I think it's very beginner friendly, I think I would say. And it's really cute, really stylish. And we'll see how I get on. I'll keep you posted. But I think that is it from me today. I mean, that was very long. I thought, oh, I only have 3 new makes. I'm going to do such a short one. Wrong. I can chat. I hope you enjoy it. I enjoy nothing more than all the vloggers I follow doing like an hour video. I'm so happy with that because I have it on as I knit or sew or cook. Like, I love that. I want them long. So hopefully there's enough of you out there that want long vlogs because I'm here to provide that service. Oh, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, what are you working on? Have you made any of the patterns that I mentioned? The Keira shorts, the Bestie bag. I know a lot of you have made the Bestie bag. There are some great Bestie bags out there. Have you ever self-drafted your own bikini? Have you heard or knit the Sailor Swift top? All of these questions, answer them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have, you are the absolute best. It honestly makes me so happy, and I hope that we can gather as many like-minded sewists and makers and knitters in this space in the channel. I would love for that to grow and grow. And if you are able to, do buy me a coffee. The link is below. All the details of things that I've mentioned will be below. I think I've now learned to link videos that I mention into the vlog. So maybe if you're watching on a, on a TV, on a smart TV, you can jump onto them from here. I don't really know how that works. Let me know. That would be useful actually to know if it's worth me putting those links in or if I should just keep them to the the description. Anyway, after all of that, I will see you again on Sunday with another Sewing Bee chat. So these are my little debriefs of the current series of the Great British Sewing Bee. They're a lot of fun. They're much shorter. So if you like a short and snappy one, I time those so that they are 20 minutes max of material that I then edit down, but because otherwise I could go on for ages as well. But yes, there will be a new one of those on Sunday. And until I see you again, keep making and keep chatting about making. Bye. But yeah, you tell it, Roy. Roy does not like car alarms.